everybody doing today? Welcome back here today to another episode of the Just Ballin podcast. Today is going to be another kind of fun off-season idea one. I stumbled across a Bleacher Report article. I'm not like reacting to it today, but I wanted to do my version of it. And it was predicting every NBA team's best player in 3 years from now. Now, I've made videos before talking about like the top 25 players in 5 years from now. And then you try to predict, okay, like, could Cooper Flagg be in that? Could AJ DeBenta be in it? Guys that aren't even in the NBA yet. So this is going to be a fun one because we're going to go through every team. 3 years is not like super far, but it is decently far in the NBA where guys can get traded all the time. Like 3 years ago, it was like the 2022 NBA finals technically, like 3 full seasons ago. And that does feel like a minute between Boston and Golden State. And those teams are obviously kind of so different in some ways today, but not really. So yeah, we're going to go through every team's best player in 3 years. Some were easy, some were challenging. Obviously, I'm not going to predict like anybody not in the NBA for these teams. Like I'm sure for a team like Brooklyn or maybe like New Orleans, they may not even be on the team right now, but I'm only going to go with players specifically on their roster. I'm going to go division by division. We'll do the 3 East divisions first, then the 3 West divisions, and then we'll have those timestamps in the audio and YouTube description if you just wanted to bounce to your favorite team. So let's start off with the Atlantic division, and I also have like the Bleacher Report article up as well because I do want to see who they have for this. So for the Knicks, I thought it was fairly easy. I'm going to just kind of show you guys like the spot track because contracts will matter for this as well. For a team like Atlanta, a team like, I'm kind of going through the Chicago, like there's teams that contracts came into my decision for these. So for the Knicks, I went with Jalen Brunson. I don't think this one was too challenging. I mean, maybe there's a chance the Knicks trade away OG Anunoby or Karl-Anthony Towns in the coming years, but I don't think like in 3 years Brunson will fall off a cliff. You could make an argument like in the 2028 season or 2029 season, Cat could be statistically better, and that's fine with me, but I think it comes down to Brunson or Karl-Anthony Towns. I mean, Brunson he just turned 29, like fairly recently, on August 31st. He was playing like a All-NBA guy last year. He was an All-NBA guy last year, right? He hit the 65 games. And then either way, like he's been one of the best playoff performers over the last 3 years since he signed with the New York Knicks. I mean, he's a smaller guard, so we could see the regression hit him a little bit earlier. He hasn't had too many notable injuries. Last year, it felt like he played through a lot, but I mean, as somebody that watched a ton of Knicks games, Brunson kind of does the thing where he may be injured, but it looks like, you know what, like you don't really have to worry about him. He'll come back in the game, or maybe he'll just sit out for a play or two. And it looks a little bit more dramatic than it actually is. And that's something I'm kind of learning now from watching Brunson a ton. I don't know if he did that at Nova or with the Dallas Mavericks, but Brunson is under a good contract. He's under contract for the next 3 years. I forget if Rick Brunson, I think he's still technically there under Mike Brown, so his dad's there, but he's the best Knicks player, in my opinion, since Patrick Ewing. He's probably the second best New York like athlete and star behind Aaron Judge, and I don't think there's a reason for him to go anywhere else. So I would say it wasn't really tough. I mean, you could give a slight edge to Towns, but honestly, Towns is not under contract technically in 2028 fully. He's got a player option, so maybe he won't even be on the team. Maybe the Knicks trade him because they're always going to be right up there with the second apron. Going forward, you can see like Spotrac even has it. They're 1.4 million under the second apron, which is very small in today's NBA. The next team is fascinating as well to go through this, and it's the Brooklyn Nets. So I don't think Michael Porter Jr. will be on this team in 2 years from now, let alone 3. So he didn't cross my mind. Nick Claxton could be that. I thought about Claxton, but I think there's a chance they would trade him in a year or two, especially since the contract is descending. It's not like Terrence Mann. So I think it really came down to one of the 5 first-round picks because Cam Thomas is on a 1-year deal. I think there's a 95% chance, maybe 99% chance he's not on this team next year unless he somehow propels the Nets to the play-in tournament and they have no choice but to sign him. So you're going to go with any of the draft picks. I just went with the guy with the highest potential, and that's Yegor Dwuman. I think it's Dwuman over Traore, over Saraf, over Wolf, over Powell. Yegor has like very intriguing size and ball handling ability for that size. He, like in my pet, like superlatives for the 2025 draft, I listed him as the best passer for the incoming class. And I think a big thing with him was going to be the shot because it was good to start off the year at BYU. It was pretty inconsistent throughout the majority of the regular season last year for the Cougars. Came alive a little bit in Big 12 tournament play and the NCAA tournament. But it looked great in the Summer League. And I think he by far has the most potential out of anybody on this roster. If The only intriguing one would be if Nick Claxton is on this roster in 3 years and he's like a solid rim protector, a great athlete. His numbers look better with the point guard play that's come in. They recently just traded for Kobe Buffkin. But I think Yegor makes the most sense. Like I said in the beginning of this, I didn't want to go with anybody that's not currently on the team right now. So that's who I ended up going with. Bleacher Report had Danny Wolf. Okay. I kind of wanted to see this because I was going to see, okay, did they agree with me? Did they disagree? They say Danny Wolf has higher risk, higher reward. I guess there's less front court guys. Interesting. I mean, Danny Wolf wasn't great in the summer league, but obviously he's a fascinating playmaking big going forward. So that's interesting. They disagreed. He was their last draft pick. And then they said for the Knicks, let's see, Jalen Brunson as well. Just wanted to see if they agreed with me there. So let's go to the Boston Celtics. This one is also fairly easy. It's Jason Tatum. There's really no debate there. The only thing is, like, it's not a 99% chance. Maybe it's 95 just because Tatum is recovering from that Achilles tear. There's a chance he's not the same player, but I would say even if Tatum is like 85, 90% of Tatum, I would still say that's a better player than Jaylen Brown. Brown's a few years older than Tatum as well. Like at least a year older. They're both under contract for the next 3 years, next 4 years actually, and Tatum can be under contract for the next 5. Yeah, it's really just if Tatum is going to look the same off the Achilles tear, but he's under contract. He's going to be the next Celtics great. I mean, he could retire maybe after one more good year. He's in the Hall of Fame. You can make an argument he could retire today and be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, it's not like he did anything at Duke, but he technically got a gold medal over the summer, right? Even though he was benched, but he was the best player on a title team, even though he didn't win Finals MVP. That went to Jaylen Brown, but he's had multiple All-NBA finishes, multiple top 5 MVP finishes. Yeah, it's Jaylen Brown, or excuse me, it's Jason Tatum. The only thing is if Tatum does not recover from that ACL tear. Philadelphia, I went with Tyrese Maxey. So it's definitely not going to be Paul George. I don't think it's going to be Edgecombe in 3 years. McCain doesn't, it feels like he doesn't have the ceiling of being like the guy on a team. Maxey's already been an all-star. He showed up for them in the playoffs against the Knicks back in 2024. The obvious debate is him versus Joel Embiid, but Joel Embiid, one, has the injury concerns. He is under contract for the next 3 years. He's got a player option for 2029. And honestly, with the injuries and what he means to the city, I don't think you're going to get equal value in a trade. I just don't think that he's going to get traded. So I do think Embiid will be on this team in 3 years. But I do think Maxey is going to be better than Joel Embiid in 3 years. I trust Maxey's health. He's still, I don't even think, reached his ceiling in this league. Maybe, like, we'll see. It'll be like TBD if he can actually be a number one option, or is Maxey kind of like an Embiid merchant? Because we saw the efficiency, we saw the shot selection, we saw how difficult it was for Maxey at times to like handle the workload of a number one option when Embiid was sidelined in 2025. So that is another debatable one between Maxey and Embiid. Sixers fans, you guys can let me know if you agree or disagree with that one. Bleacher Report ended up going with, let's see who they ended up going with. They went with Maxey as well. So they were kind of like on my side there. And then for Boston, they went with Jason Tatum, obviously. So the last team here in the Atlantic Division, the Toronto Raptors, I think it comes down between two guys, Brandon Ingram or Scotty Barnes. I went with Scotty Barnes. You can make an argument to me that Brandon Ingram is better than Scotty Barnes right now. And I think there is some objective analysis that can back that up for sure, what a healthy Ingram can do. But I think it's like slight either way. I think because of the defense, I may go Barnes is better right now in my player rankings for next year. I think I had Ingram as an honorable mention of my top 50, and I had Barnes like 37-ish in that range. So I do think Barnes is better right now with the playmaking. The downhill attacking is maybe just as good. I trust Ingram's ball handling, his shot creating, and what he can do like with that mid-range jumper with the ball in his hands and in isolation. But Barnes is a better passer, better defender. I think a really good transition player. And he's also like 4 years younger than Brandon Ingram. So in 3 years from now, I mean, Ingram may not even be on this roster. So that's a caveat in all this. He's got a player option in the 2028 season for $41.9 million. Like Barnes is under contract guaranteed for the next 5 years. Like this is the first year that Franz, Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley, and Scotty Barnes, like rookie massive extensions kick in. And Barnes, yeah, like 24 years old. Sky's still the limit for Scotty. Like Scotty could be a top 20 player one day. We'll see. I mean, last year it took a little bit of a step back, but was banged up. There's a lot of roster turnover, or a little bit for Toronto over the last like year or so. Bleacher Report also went with Scotty Barnes here. I mean, like you're not going to go quickly. You're not going to go RJ Barrett. I don't think Grady Dick has that ceiling. Jacoby Walter doesn't have that ceiling, in my opinion. Neither does Colin Murray Boyle. So I actually thought the Atlantic Division was maybe one of the more, I don't know, like not the easiest division for sure. I think that could also be like the Northwest or maybe the Southeast divisions were interesting. Maybe the Pacific Division. But yeah, for the Atlantic Division, I went Jalen Brunson for the Knicks. Like I said, you could maybe go Karl-Anthony Towns. I think that'd be a little bit unpopular and not be the majority like pick there, but I could see it. There is a world where it happens. I went Yegor for the Nets. I think you got to go with one of the. I mean, you could go Nick Claxton, like I said, but then you got to factor in that he could get traded. These younger guys who have higher ceilings, like Yegor, maybe Traore, Powell, and Wolf have like higher ceilings and could pass him in 3 years. And then, yeah, so I think it really comes down to one of the first round picks. Boston, go with Tatum, unless he doesn't look the same from the Achilles tear. Then you would go Jaylen Brown. Philly, I went with Maxey because of Embiid's age and what his health has been. And for Toronto, I went Scotty Barnes just because he's under contract for the next 5 years. And I think he's already better than Brandon Ingram right now. So let's go to the Central Division here. The first team is an easy one. It's Tyrese Haliburton of the Indiana Pacers. I'm going to assume that Bleacher Report also has Tyrese Haliburton of the Pacers for them. Yep. So obviously, same thing I said about the Boston Celtics. Haliburton doesn't look the same from the injury. I mean, like, I don't think it's going to be Siakam who's going to be like 34. And I have like a hot take in my own right. Like that, if the Pacers are bad this year or like a non-playing team or like barely a 10 seed, I would think about trading Pascal Siakam. I would. The contract descends over time. It's pretty hefty, but it's only 2 more years after this year. But if you can get like a good haul to reshuffle this roster or just add pieces, cheaper, cost-effective role players around Haliburton, I would continue to do that. I would. Just because who knows how Haliburton's going to look in 2027, like off the injury. And Siakam's going to be 32, 33. He's going to need a new extension. And do you want to give Siakam a max contract or would you rather have just like a different team figure that out going forward? It's a hot take. I don't think Pacers fans would agree with that coming off the finals run. And going to game 7, but we know ownership does not like to go into the luxury tax. It was evident this offseason. Siakam's on the wrong side of 30, and his value may not be higher after what he just did in the playoffs for the Pacers, where he was a damn good number 2 on a title team that almost beat the 1-seeded Thunder that went to game 7. It's just a hot take. I wanted to get off my chest right there. But yeah, it's Haliburton. I don't think Nembhard, it'll be him. It's not going to be Benedict Mathurin, although he can take a leap this year. Same with Jarris Walker or Johnny Furphy. It's not going to be those guys. It's obviously Tyrese Haliburton. As a year ago, you'd probably say he was like a top 30 guy. Now there's an argument he's a top 10 guy, top 15 guy in the league. You maybe have to dim him a little bit because of the scary Achilles tear going forward. And he plays a lot on his elusiveness, his quick decision-making downhill, and his like ability to make a split-second pass. So who knows how he's going to look off the Achilles tear? I mean, Tatum's a better player, but then do you think Tatum, who's more of like a downhill attacker, but also like an isolation scorer? I mean, like Haliburton's 3-point shooting has just skyrocketed over the last few years as well. I don't know who you'd be more nervous of, like coming off that Achilles tear. Like, what, Tatum's 27-ish, like Haliburton's a little bit younger. I don't know. Hopefully they're both back at full strength because the league needs that. Definitely the Eastern Conference needs that. Detroit, easy one here. I'm going with Ron Holland. Just making sure you're still paying attention. It's obviously Cade Cunningham. There's some players with fun ceilings in 3 years on this team. If Ivy gets extended, same with Jalen Duren, Ron Holland, Asar Thompson, all have high ceilings still that could be hit. But Cade Cunningham has the highest ceiling by far. I had him, I think, as my 10th or 11th ranked player for next year. Like, I think in the 2026 season, he will have a top 10, top 11 season. We saw him basically kind of have that. He wouldn't have ended up as high on the All-NBA teams if it wasn't for like the 65 game rule. But in my opinion, it's clearly Cade Cunningham. There's a chance he's starting over Tyrese Haliburton on the 2028 Olympics team. That's how good Cade Cunningham could be. He's not coming off an Achilles tear. And I think he was pretty close to Haliburton as well. He needs to cut down on the turnovers a little bit, maybe become a little bit more reliant of like a 3-point shooter at like the high level, because now we have higher standards for Cade Cunningham. Like, all right, you finally broke out. You showed to us that you could be an All-NBA player. Let's see you be like an All-NBA first team type guy, potentially. Could you be an MVP candidate one day? And can we lead the Pistons to the conference finals, maybe an NBA finals one day as well? Like the player we thought he could be coming out of Oklahoma State. But obviously I don't want to put too much pressure on the guy. as well, and just have like unrealistic expectations. But hey, he's in those conversations now. So for Milwaukee, I have to go with Giannis because, I mean, is there a chance Giannis is not on this team in 3 years? Yes. I mean, this guy's been in trade rumors for like the last like 6 years, right? He was in trade rumors up till the 21 title team that felt like it delayed it. And for the last 2 years, he's been in trade rumors. It was brought up this offseason where we thought it was going to happen. They get bounced in round one again. What? They win it all in 21. 22, kind of a shocking exit to Boston in round number 2. Shout out to the Grant Williams game. 23, completely shocking. They lose to Miami in round number 1, so they trade Drew for Dame. They lose in round 1 in 24. They lose in round 1 in 25. So here we are in 26 with no Dame. Miles Turner's into the fold. They added some guys this offseason. I mean, if Giannis isn't on this team, you probably just have to go Miles Turner, who will be 32. I mean, just not a lot of guys are under contract in 3 years. So, like, for the 28 season, it's Giannis with a player option. It's Miles Turner guaranteed. Bobby Portis, Ryan Rollins player options. Tyler Smith team option, not even guaranteed. So, yeah, like Kuzma's not even on this team. But, like, you'd assume if they actually traded Giannis, it'd probably be the player they got back in the Giannis trade. So, just a hypothetical, if they traded Giannis for Stephon Castle, it'd be Castle or Don Harper. If they traded him for Shane Gooner, Men Thompson, it'd be one of those guys, right? So you got to go with Giannis right now just because he's technically under contract. He's got that player option for 28. He's extension eligible, I believe, at the start of the 2026 season, like in October or 2027 season, excuse me. So October of 26. And then we'll know if he's going to be on the team fully in 3 years. But yeah, there's a chance it's somebody not on this roster right now going forward. So like they probably joined Brooklyn as I would say like the only guy or the only team so far that the best player in 3 years could not be on their roster. Brooklyn, hey, who knows? Maybe it's Darren Peterson, Agent Abanza, maybe it's Tyron Stokes in 2 years, who knows? But for the Bucks, I'm gonna go with Giannis. Chicago, I went back and forth, and I wonder if Bleacher Report. I'll look in Milwaukee in a second. I went back and forth for a little bit between Matas Buzelis and Josh Giddey. Right now, Josh Giddey's better than Matas Buzelis. I don't think Josh Giddey is an amazing player, but he's a good player. We know he's going to be on the team in 4 years because he just got a 4-year, $100 million extension. Obviously, Matas Buzelis is going to be on this team in 4 years. I didn't go Kobe White just because I think there's a chance they trade him. So, like, individually, Kobe White's the best player on this team right now. But since there is a chance they could trade him, they could, like, if they extend him, it's Kobe White 100%. But I'm going to, run the risk that there's a chance they trade him. He's a free agent at the end of the year. And what if he wants 35 plus million? Who knows, right? Who knows? And if Chicago will pay him that, maybe they think, okay, we can get like 3 first-round picks for him or 2 first-round picks. So they trade him. So I'm going to go with Giddey. But I could definitely see a world where it's Matas Buzelis. I mean, Giddey's like playmaking, rebounding. He can still finish around the rim. He's inconsistent as a shooter. He's inconsistent as a defender. 3 years, he'll be around 26 years old, maybe the middle of his prime. Matas Buzelis will be like 24-ish. Still has like a raw feel to his game right now, but like looked great in the second half. Looked strong and confident in the summer league. Yeah, I'm going to go with Buzelis. Man, I went back and forth between Matas. I'm going to go with Giddey. That's what I kind of like went with my analysis on, that I think Giddey will still be the best player. There's a chance Giddey is not on this team in 3 years as well. But I'm going to go Giddey. Bulls fans, you can let me know. So Bleacher Report said Matas Buzelis. I'm fine with that for sure. I am. Like I said, it would be Kobe White, but I can't guarantee that he's going to be here. And they went Milwaukee for the Milwaukee, or excuse me, they went Giannis for the Milwaukee Bucks. Like, say the Bucks had like a Kobe White level player under contract for the next 3 years, I would go Kobe White like in that Bucks world over Giannis. It's just I can't guarantee that Giannis is going to be on this team. And like they don't have somebody good enough to run that risk. Like Giddey's good enough, Matas is good enough to run that risk. So for Cleveland, I went Evan Mobley. I don't know if that's like a bad take, but I went Evan Mobley over Donovan Mitchell. Mobley will be around 27. Donovan Mitchell will be around 32. And Mitchell has a player option for the 28 season. There was a lot of skepticism that a lot of people, people were just speculating that he could be a free agent last year. He doesn't sign a full 4 or 5 year extension. He signs the 3 or the 2+1. So basically he can now sign like a supermax in 2028. That would have to be to Cleveland. Now we've seen players like they'll sign the extension, then they'll get traded. Feels like Donovan Mitchell is perfectly fine in Cleveland. He's happy. He thought he could be a Knick or a Net or a different team, but he ends up in Cleveland and they've won, right? They were like a 4 or 5 seed 2 years ago. Same thing last year or 3 years ago and 2 years ago. And last year they were amazing. 64 wins, 1 seed in the East. Mobley won Depoy though. Who's better today? Donovan Mitchell. I'm going to assume in 3 years, Jared Allen is not on his team. He gets traded in some way. And Mobley's like the full-time five that can space the floor, that can average 20 and 10, that can just be challenging Wemby for depoys every single year. And I think could be a more like just normal fit for Mobley at the five, where he's not asked to go on the perimeter as much as he is right now. And he could be this like rim protector, anchor of the defense. And you have more of like a stretch for him. I mean, Dean Wade, who knows next to him. So one, Mobley's under contract guaranteed for the next 5 years till 2030. So I have that like safety factor in my decision. And then Donovan Mitchell, like Donovan Mitchell could be better than Mobley in 3 years. Like I'm not debating that. I just think like Mobley still has a super high ceiling, top 10 player in the league potential. He hits that. So he could be better than Mitchell in 3 years. And I know he's going to at least be here. There's a chance Mitchell, like they're not trading Mobley. They're not, but they could move Mitchell in 3 years, or he leaves them in 2028's free agency period. So for Bleacher Report in Cleveland, did they disagree with me or did they agree? They ended up going with Evan Mobley as well. So they agreed with me. So I guess like I went Josh Giddey for Chicago. Could be a hot take there. You could go Matas. You could go Kobe White. I also went Tyrese Halliburton for the Pacers, Cade Cunningham for the Pistons, Giannis for the Bucks, Josh Giddey Bulls, Evan Mobley Cavs. All right, so let's go to the next division now, where we're going to have the Southeast Division. We'll talk about the Charlotte Hornets. Also went with maybe an unexpected player here. I went with Brandon Miller over LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball is better than Brandon Miller right now. He's about a year or two older than Brandon Miller, but I just can't trust LaMelo's ankles. I can't trust his health right now. And the Hornets have never like came out and said, yeah, we will trade LaMelo Ball. I think it's more just been kind of like the media and us like speculating, could this be the right move for them just to move on from LaMelo Ball, like we've said with Zion and the Pelicans. But I just feel like there's a chance LaMelo's just not on this team in 3 years, right? He's under contract guaranteed for 4 more years. This is going to be year 2 of the rookie extension, basically kicking in. And then Brandon Miller has 2 more years of the rookie contract and then the restricted free agency. So I know he's going to be on this team in 3 years, like guaranteed he will be. LaMelo maybe has like a 20% chance he won't be, 30% chance he won't be, 70, 80 he will. I think Brandon Miller still has a higher ceiling. I want to say that LaMelo still has a higher ceiling than Brandon Miller, but it's just like I feel like we've fallen in the same trap for the last few years with LaMelo. The last 3 years, he hasn't been able to stay healthy since a very promising 2022 season. Still a good player, but I just believe in Brandon Miller's 3-level scoring. I like his defense better than LaMelo. LaMelo still has great defensive potential. I don't know if he's ever going to be bought in there and be asked to guard the players that I think Brandon Miller will be asked to over the next few years. Miller was banged up in year number 2, so it's not like he's the healthiest player in the world and the most available player. So I'm just kind of going out on a limb here that I think Brandon Miller has higher upside. I trust that he's going to be here, and I think he's just a little bit more healthy and less prone to injury than LaMelo is. So looking at the Bleacher Report article, they also had Brandon Miller. Okay. I guess, yeah, like there's a chance that he's not there as well, which factored into my decision. Another unpopular one here, or maybe just like not the best player on the team for Atlanta, I went Jalen Johnson over Trae Young. So Jalen Johnson is under control for the next 5 years. His 5-year, 150 extension kicks in this season. So I know he's going to be here in 3 years, and it's a great contract. Like $30 million is a great contract now. It's mind-blowing how much money these NBA players can make, and you're like not even an expensive deal. So 60% of the cap is $30 million. But Trae Young is a free agent next year. He has a player option of $48.9 million for 2027. I still feel confident that Trae Young is going to stay. I feel like Atlanta could use Trae Young and Trae Young could use Atlanta, right? Like, I don't know, would Washington or Utah give Trae Young a bag next offseason, or Brooklyn, teams that have cap space? Maybe they would. Maybe they'd want to streamline and kind of like accelerate their rebuild process and go out and get one of the best passers in the NBA, one of the best playmakers in the NBA. And a very good shooter, somebody that can kind of put up 26 and 10 in his sleep, but lacks the defensive ability to be like a mainstay in the fourth quarter at times. A little bit streaky as a shooter as well. And if he's not your number 1, like he's like your number 2, can that work? We've never really seen Trae Young operate as a number 2, and we kind of did with DeJounte Murray at times, and it just felt weird, right? So the fact that Trae Young can be a free agent next year, we haven't really gone like a good vibe out of Atlanta's camp that like they're going to get an extension done before the season starts. I know Jalen Johnson will be here. And honestly, in 3 years, Trae Young will be around 30. Man, I feel old. Jalen Johnson around 3 years younger. I think Jalen Johnson could be better in 3 years. Let alone like that he's going to be here. Like, I think he could be better. I think like the defense is miles better than Trae Young's, right? And he's somebody that has gotten so much better as a rebounder, so much better as a transition scorer, and a downhill attacker as well. Big swing will be one, the health, like banged up last year. Two, the 3-point shot. I think he shot around 31% from three last year. That's not going to cut it for a number one option in his like type of play style. It's not like he's like a traditional down low big. So yeah, I'm going to go with Jalen Johnson for the fact that I know he'll be here. Trae Young, it's maybe 30% chance he won't be. And I think Jalen Johnson can be better than Trae Young in 3 years. An easy one for Orlando is Paolo Banchero. Paolo is got his rookie extension not even kicking in this year. It's next year. So he's basically going to be in Orlando guaranteed for like the next 5 years. And as a player option for 2031, it's not Bane, it's not Suggs. The only other guy that you can kind of debate is Franz Wagner. If you believe that Franz fixes his shot and he's a better shooter, like if you were to say right now who becomes a better shooter over the next 3 years, Franz Wagner or Paolo Banchero, I mean, you can make an argument it could be Franz. Like Paolo, I think Franz is better mechanics. Franz is showing a larger sample size of being a better shooter for sure. And I think they both have been kind of disappointing at times. Now, I think, yeah, Paolo shot better from three last year, but I kind of, like I said, I trust Franz's mechanics in a way. I trust his track record as a shooter to be better than Paolo. So you can make an argument. All right, I like Franz's defense better. I think he could score just as much. And if he's going to be a better 3-point shooter and initiator, who's there to, like, what's there to say that Franz can't be the best player on the Magic in 3 years, right? So that's the one, like, I guess, argument against Paolo. I still think Paolo has the higher upside as, like, the overall complete scorer, what his finishing could do with his, like, frame, like, 6'8", 6'9", like, feels like 6'10" out there, just, like, jacked, can get downhill, like, we'll get to the free throw line. If you could finish at the free throw line, the playmaking, I think, took strides last year, pre-injury and post-injury. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Paolo. I don't think that's a hot take by any means. And for Washington, it could be one of two guys. I mean, you could be kind of out of left field and say Keyshawn George. I guess you could say it's Bilal, but I'm a little bit out on Bilal as the guy. You could go Trey Johnson, hasn't played a game yet, but I think has the upside of being the best guy. I went with Alex Sarr because one, I was high. Like if you guys have been following me for a little bit, you know I was very high on Sarr going into the 24 draft. He was my number one player for that class from like December of 23 to basically the draft. And I still want to stand by that. I think he'll be the best player from that class today. It wasn't the greatest rookie environment, but he was disappointing at attacking around the rim. 3-point shot was fine for a rookie center. That was like a teenager, but he needs to get more polished. He needs to get stronger, more physical, put on weight as well. I thought the defense had its moments. It wasn't like elite. It wasn't like Wemby rookie defense. It wasn't like Chet rookie defense, but it was good rookie defense for a team that didn't have a lot of good help defenders around him. He looked good in Summer League defensively as well. I'm going to go with Sarr just because I know, like, there's the unknown that Trey Johnson will be, like, this elite scorer, this elite 3-point shooter. I think he will be a really good one. But I think Alex Sarr could be fighting for all defensive teams in 3 years. And I still want to buy into the pre-draft analysis that this guy will be a good 3-point shooter, a good transition scorer, a great transition scorer for a big man of his size, and a solid enough down-low scorer where he could put up mid to high teens in points per game, give me all defensive caliber defense, and also be able to space the floor. We compared him to like Evan Mobley and Jaren Jackson Jr. and a little bit of Miles Turner pre-draft, and I still think he can reach that ceiling. And we'll see if like CJ McCollum will help that, Bob Carrington will help him get to his spots, Middleton as well. I'm going to go with Sarr over Trey Johnson. And the last guy from the Southeast Division, I'm going to go with Bam Adebayo from the Heat. Also another like maybe tough one. The only other guy is Tyler Hero, unless you think like Kel'el Ware explodes. I don't know. I can't see Kel'el Ware or like Nikola Jovic being better than Hero or Bam in 3 years. And I like Bam just because, one, I know I'm getting all defensive caliber defense. I'm not getting that from Hero. Hero could definitely be a better shooter, maybe an overall scorer, but Bam was great. Bam was just as good as a scorer as Hero was in the second half last year. He's under contract till 2029. He's got a player option that season, so 3 years he'll be here. Hero can be a free agent after the 2027 season. Who knows? We'll see. Miami usually extends their guys early, so I wouldn't be surprised if Hero got extended before the season started. So I went with Bam Adebayo. Let's see. So Bleacher Report had Brandon Miller. They also agreed with me on Jalen Johnson. I guess I should have gave a shout to Reese Ashe. I don't think it will be Dyson Daniels. And then Orlando and Miami. Let's see who they had here. From Miami, they went with Bam Adebayo as well. Orlando, I assume they're going to go with Paolo. Yeah, they went with Paulo. And Washington, I feel like they're going to go Trey Johnson. Let's see. No, they went Alex Sarr as well. Okay, so they agreed with me. So yeah, I went Miller, Johnson, Binkero, Sarr, and Bam. Let's get to the West. And we'll start off with the Utah Jazz. I think there's a good chance it could be Lauri Markkanen in 3 years if he was on the team, but I don't expect him to be on the team in 3 years. And who knows, maybe we start to see like Markkanen peak over the next 2 years or so. Like he was kind of going downhill over the last three, but had a really good like Eurobasket where I'm confident in him next year. You could go with Walker Kessler. Same thing as like Alex Sarr, guy you know, and like Bam is going to be in those all defensive conversations. I went with Ace Bailey. I think Bleacher Report, I saw that they also went with Ace Bailey in this one. They did. I just think like Ace has higher upside than obviously Walker Kessler as an offensive player. If I had to like bet my life that Ace will be a better offensive player than Markkanen was in 23, oh, that's so tough because Markkanen was really good that year, like his most improved player season. I'm going to say he will. I think it's a good spot for Ace to develop. I really do. And I do think he has that high upside swing. I know he'll be here in 3 years. Like Markkanen might not even be here in 3 years. One, Kessler will, but we know Kessler kind of has a ceiling on his offensive game. And I think what Ace Bailey can be as a 3-level scorer, like he had his defensive moments at Rutgers. I don't know how bought he's going to be under Will Hardy on a team that's not really going to win a lot next year. Like that could mess up like the rookie vibes. He was like, you know what? I want my rookie max extension like DeAndre did. I just want to get to my rookie extension and I'm going to check out a little bit. But I think Ace can be the guy in Utah, and I think he wants to be the guy in Utah. So I went with Ace Bailey for the Jazz. For the Thunder, I went with Aaron Wiggins because by then he's going to save basketball. No, I'm kidding. I went with Chet Holmgren. No, I'm kidding. I went with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Obviously, he was the MVP last year. You could say he's the first, second, third, fourth best player in the NBA. I think he's 3. But there's a chance that, who knows, like, will he be better than Luka this year? I think that's up for debate. But yeah, Shai signed that essential Supermax-ish extension this offseason. So yeah, he's under control till technically 2030. Could be till 2031 as well. He's got a player option that year. Maybe if Chet somehow hit a Wemby ceiling, maybe if J-Dub hit a Jason Tatum ceiling, maybe. Just because J-Dub is how many years younger? 3 than Shai. And Chet is about 4 years younger than Shai. So you can have an argument there, but Shai's going to be around 30. I think that was an easy one. Denver as well, an easy one. I mean, Jokic can be a free agent in the 2027 class, so you run that risk, but I think they showed that they want to still invest around Jokic. They traded the first for Cam Johnson. I think they were willing to pay the tax a little bit more this offseason. I think Jokic signs a Supermax, which he did turn down the extension this offseason. I think he could sign the Supermax after the 2027 season, which would be his second Supermax, which is freaking mind-blowing. He's going to have like over 500 million career earnings by far, actually. Like $200-300 million contracts or something like that. But yeah, I'm going to run the risk that he'll be there in Denver. I don't think there's anything to allude that he won't be there unless this team craters and he really wants to sign with the Warriors or the Clippers. But do we really think Jokic cares about the Bay Area or Los Angeles? I think this is like the least Los Angeles superstar that we ever like that would ever want to be there. He just wants to play with his horses, right? So I went with Jokic. Minnesota went with Ant. Small market team. Ant is a free agent in 2029. So he'll be there for the next 3 years. Why would you ever trade this guy? He's your best player since Kevin Garnett, at least ceiling wise. Like Cat was obviously amazing, but Ant, I think last year was better than any Cat season that we've seen. He's brought Minnesota to 2 Western Conference Finals as the number 1. Like you can make a good argument that Ant could take like a Shai or Luka level leap or Tatum that we've seen in the past this year, and he can kind of enter those top 5 conversations. He can leapfrog like KD, Steph, Joel Embiid, and maybe even Shai. Maybe he's a better player than Shai this year, or Giannis or somebody like that, right? And he's in those MVP talks, something we saw from Luka and Shai in 23 and 24. Yeah, 23 and 24, and obviously Shai 1 and 25. And then I think the toughest one, I mean, like I said, Utah, you could have gone some other ways, was Portland. So I went with Denny Avdia because you can make an argument he's already the best player on this team, and he's 25, and he's under the best contract in the league over the next 3 years. Like it's $38 million over 3 years. That is unreal when he should probably be getting like 14 million next year. It should probably be like triple that, what he's actually been like playing for them. Like 42 million, yeah, for what he did last year. You could see that. And he's 25. He's going to have the ball more. The usage is going to go up. They move Anthony Simon, so they kind of need that new 20 point per game scorer. That could be Denny over Shaden Sharp for sure. I mean, Shaden Sharp has the potential. Scoot Henderson has the potential. I don't think it's going to be Damian Lillard or Jeremy Grant. Definitely not True Holiday. I just think the creation, the playmaking, the downhill scoring, the shooting was better last year. He's really good in transition. And he was, I think, able to handle that workload in the second half where I went Denny. So I went Denny, Ant, Jokic, Shea, and Ace. So they had Ace. I assume they're going to have Shea. I mean, like, I don't even need to look at that one. So they had Scoot Henderson for Portland. I don't know, man. If Scoot doesn't start this year, I'm going to be kind of upset because then you have like Dame coming back next year. And are we ever going to be like fully bought in? So yeah, they had Shea, they had Ant, and I don't really even need to look at Denver, I assume, right? Yeah, it was Jokic. So that was the Northwest division. Let's go to the Southeast or the Southwest, excuse me. Where we're gonna start off with the Dallas Mavericks. I went with Cooper Flag. Cooper Flag is gonna be 18 at the start of the season, so he'll be around 22 years old in 3 years, like start off the year. AD will be like 35. Kyrie will be 36. Who's to say like Cooper Flag can't be a all NBA guy, fringe at least, all defensive guy, carry this team offensively and just be an elite two-way player. I trust the health more than Kyrie and AD. Kyrie's coming off an ACL tear. AD has had countless injuries in his career. And both AD and Kyrie can be free agents in 2027 and have player options for 2028. Cooper Flag will be there for 4 years under the rookie deal and gets on a 5-year max. So we know he's going to be there for almost the next decade. I thought that was a fairly easy one in Dallas. New Orleans was tricky because I also kind of went the LaMelo route and assumed that Zion won't be here. Zion is under contract for the next 3 years, but they could waive him. Like the next 2 years are not guaranteed because Zion missed a bunch of games. He will, if he's on this team, I would go Zion, but I just can't guarantee he's going to be on this team. So I went Trey Murphy. Like I said, it could be somebody not on this team. It could be Derek Queen. It could be Jeremiah Fears, but Trey Murphy will be on this team. Most likely he's under contract for the next 4 years. I know plenty of teams have been interested in Trey Murphy this offseason, like Golden State is. I think it's going to cost you more to get Trey Murphy than it would for Zion Williamson. Given the season Trey had last year, he's like the same age as Zion, was drafted 2 years later, but he's been banged up as well, but he's been more available than Zion, and like the shot creating in the second half was so impressive. So, okay, they went out of alphabetical order here. Where the hell is New Orleans? I just wanted to see who Bleacher Report had. Okay, actually, no, they didn't. They had Jeremiah Fears. Wow. Okay. So they said that Zion, Trey Murphy, and Derek Queen were all in contention, but they don't feel guaranteed. They don't think Trey Murphy will be here, and they don't think Derek Queen has the upside of Fears. I mean, you could say that Murphy won't be here. I don't know, though. I think he will be here. I think he has a better chance than Zion, so I went Trey Murphy. Rockets, it comes down between two guys. Like, it's not KD. It's between Şengün and Amen. I think if you would have asked me before Eurobasket, I would have said Amen. But I just feel like, so Şengün's better right now. He was an all-star last year. I feel confident that Şengün will be better than Amen this year. And then, like, do we think Amen can make up that gap in 2 years? He definitely can. Like, Amen's going to be a better defender, a better transition player, a better downhill attacker. But, like, Şengün, you can make an argument, is a better shooter. He's a better passer than Amen Thompson, in my opinion. Who did Bleacher Report go with? That was a tough one. They went Amen Thompson. I get it. Like, Amen could just be a perennial all-NBA or all-defensive first-team guy. He could average 20 points per game. It's just like, if Amen grows as a shooter, I just don't know if that's going to happen. Like, some guys just don't become good shooters. We were saying that for Fox for all these years. Fox, like, did improve after his rookie season as a shooter, but I don't know. Like, if Amen will be a good shooter, I went Şengün. Rockets fans would love to know who you guys think here. Easy one for San Antonio. Went Victor Wembanyama. He'll be 25. He's going to sign that rookie max next offseason. Yeah, no ifs, ands, or buts about that one. Memphis was interesting. I mean, Ja's been circulating trade ideas, but like Memphis hasn't came out and said that. I think like it's the same thing with like Trae Young, maybe Zion. Like, you're not going to get as much as it is maybe worth trading that guy. Like, you may be disappointed in your Trae Young trade offers. You may as well just keep him. I think that's going to happen with Ja. Jaren Jackson Jr.'s contract goes up pretty hefty over the next few years as well. He's the only other guy you could go with. If you think Ja's actually going to get traded, then you would say Jaren Jackson Jr., but it might just be the guy they get back in a Ja trade. They said Jaren Jackson Jr. as well. Ja's actually a couple months older than Jaren Jackson Jr., which I'm surprised it's that far apart. Well, Jackson Jr. was like the youngest player in the 2018 draft, but Ja was like a sophomore coming out of Murray State in 2019. I mean, I still think Ja's better right now today, and Ja was so good in the second half. If he's like healthy, locked in under Tumas Asalo, I think he will be like the guy. So Southwest, I went Cooper Flag, Trey Murphy, Şengün, Wemby, and Ja. Let's go to the Pacific Division. Well, let's just get like these easy ones out of the way, like the guaranteed ones. So Phoenix, Devin Booker, he signed that extension this offseason, so he's technically under contract till 2030. Yeah, they could trade him, but who else would you say here? Because Jalen Green could be off this team in 3 years or 2 years as well. So it's clearly Devin Booker for the Phoenix Suns. For the LA Lakers, I went Luka. So Luka could technically be an unrestricted free agent in the 2028 offseason. He has a player option for 2029. I'm going to assume he's going to be back in LA. I don't think it's worth running the Reeves risk, who's already a free agent next year. LeBron, I don't think he's going to be in this league at 44. And I don't think Bronny's going to reach that Luka ceiling just yet in 2028. So I went Luka Doncic. I went Devin Booker. And then the last three here are interesting. So I think probably the one I'm most confident is probably Domantas Sabonis of Sacramento. He's under contract for the next 3 years. Who knows? He could get traded. I mean, DeMar DeRozan could be gone next year. Is this contract not fully guaranteed for 2027? I thought it was. Yeah, I think it is. I just don't know why it's grayed out on Spot Track. But either way, like DeMar DeRozan won't be here, or it's not going to be him. LaVine is like slightly older than Sabonis, but he's a free agent after 2027, so I didn't go him. And I don't think like Carter, Clifford, like those guys have the ceiling. Keegan Murray, you could say just because there's a good chance he will be here. Like he gets extended before the season starts. You know he'll be here. He still, I think, has a little bit more room to grow. His ceiling will probably not be as good as like Sabonis was the last 2 or so years, but you could just feel more comfortable that he'll be there. I went Sabonis though because he's under contract for the next 3 years, and they probably will extend him as well, just like Sacramento, right? So I know that Bleacher Report will go Booker and Luka. Did they go Sabonis or did they go Keegan Murray? Or I guess they could have went Zach LaVine as well. So they went Keegan Murray. Okay. For all the reasons why I said, right? And then the last two were kind of tough. So the Clippers, I mean, there was a report coming out today that the Clippers are done with Kawhi. They want nothing to do with him anymore. So $50 million owed in 27. He's like, everybody's off the books outside of one guy, Ivica Zubac. So for the Clippers in 2028 or 2029, their best player is probably not on the team. Like Harden and Kawhi are probably going to be either gone or retired. Collins could be gone. Chris Paul is going to be retired. Beal could be gone. So I went Zubac. Like I said, I wasn't going to try to predict somebody that's not on the team. Zubac was like an all defensive, all NBA caliber big man this year. And we know he's under contract till 2028. So I have that security. But like I said, maybe they sign a Giannis or somebody, right, in the 2027 free agency class. And it's somebody not on their roster. So went Zubac. And then Golden State, I wonder who they went with. I went with freaking Pods. Steph's going to be 40 in 3 years. Jimmy's going to be 39. Draymond's going to be 38. Like the Clippers, it's probably somebody not on this roster. It could be a draft pick. It could be Jonathan Kuminga. Maybe he is the guy. I just don't think Kuminga even wants to be here. I think Pods will probably get extended next offseason. So I went Podziemski, even though like it's probably going to be somebody not on the roster because that is like the worst player we'll talk about. They went Steph. I mean, Steph in 3 full years is going to be 40. Do we think Steph's going to... I mean, I guess if Steph's playing with these 40s, is he going to be the best player on your team? I mean, no, it's probably going to be somebody that comes along the way. I just went with Pods because who knows? Steph, like, if he's going to retire as a Warrior, but he could be retired by then. That's just a really tough one to do. So to recap the Pacific, I went Booker, Luka, Zubac, Steph, if he's still here, retired, but like I went Podziemski as like the final answer. And then you have Domantas Sabonis for the Kings. And that's going to be it for me. I hope you guys did enjoy this episode of the Just Ballin podcast. I thought that was really fun to do. Let me know if you guys enjoyed that down below. Drop a thumbs up if you guys did enjoy it on YouTube. And then, yeah, make sure you're subscribed on Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well. I'd really appreciate a rating and review to help the pod grow on the audio platforms. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.